What do top consultants do differently than the average consultant that allows them to win business significantly faster? In this video, I'm going to break down several things that you can start to do and incorporate into your own consulting business that will allow you to win business faster, move through sales cycles more quickly, and also attract higher quality, higher value leads into your business more consistently. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing that's important for you to pay attention to and just to understand that separates a top consultant and a successful consultant from those that typically tend to struggle or are kind of average is that the top consultant is known for something, right? They are much more a specialist than a generalist. And today you might look at them, at somebody very successful, and it might appear that they are a bit of a generalist because at times, this is just an important kind of note, is that as they become more successful, they have been able to spread out to capture more market share because of their visibility, because of the audience they've already kind of cultivated and developed. But if you trace back the origins of the most successful companies and the most successful consultants, they almost always had a very clear area of specialization that they were recognized for. And so that is important for you to be thinking about what is your specialization? What is your niche or niche? Right? And what do you truly want to be known for? Because if you are trying to say that you work with all different types of people, providing all different types of services, right? And you have a lot of different types of methodologies, that is a recipe for confusion. So that's number one, is get very clear on what are you actually known for. Number two is that top consultants generally have either brought in from their past or they become very good at developing and cultivating a strong network. Right? That means they know a lot of people. That means they have a lot of relationships. And remember, the consulting business is a relationship-based business. So the more people that you interact with, right, the more shoulders that you rub, the more people that you can call upon, the more people that kind of know you and see you, it typically means the more referrals you're going to receive. It typically means that people will think about you more often. And so therefore, when something comes up and it's in your wheelhouse, right, it fits into what you are known for, which is why it's key to be known for something, because if you're not known for something, it's very hard for people to think about you, right, when something comes up, because they don't really remember what you do because you do too many different things. So cultivating a strong network, and this is why it's still so powerful and can be so effective to find out where do your ideal clients spend time. So I'm not talking about just go to another conference where there's a lot of other people that are similar to you, right? If you're a sales consultant, don't just go to another sales consultant conference, right? Find out where do your ideal clients go and show up there, right? The more that you can get in front of your ideal clients, the more relationships that you can build, the better. The next is for you to truly be a visible authority. So I touched on this a little bit earlier on. Hinge has this concept of the visible expert. It's a little book, but they've done great work on it. I was honored to be featured inside of that book. But the concept of the visible expert is that you are prolific with putting your intellectual property, your knowledge, right, your experience, your expertise, your insights into the marketplace. And so a visible authority is somebody who speaks at conferences, right? They go on podcasts. They are writing for trade publications. And so the more of that you do, just to make this very, very simple, right? It's your ideal clients start seeing you in more places. That means that you become, in their mind, a top figure, right? You are an authority. You are an expert. Because you are visible. So think about this whole concept of visible authority, visible expert, and find places that create leverage, like speaking, right? You give a talk once, you deliver a webinar once, right? You write an article once. If it goes in the right places, you're having tens or hundreds, or in some cases, thousands of your ideal clients being exposed to that. And so that's really powerful to move you from being potentially unknown to becoming more known. And it's not necessarily just a one-time talk or writing an article for one time, but the more that you do this, the better. And that really takes us to the next point, which is creating and promoting valuable content. So this is another thing that really distinguishes successful and top consultants from those that are not so successful, is that when you really look at these people, they tend to be prolific with their content creation. So this ties directly to this whole concept of being a visible expert and visible authority. So whether you're on LinkedIn, whether you're writing articles on your website, as long as people are coming to your website, but generally, right, it could be LinkedIn, it could be giving talks to different associations presentations, even digital webinar presentation type of fashion. It might be attending industry events and delivering a live talk. It might be going on conferences, panels. It might be writing articles for trade publications. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do. Videos, right? Podcasts. But the more content that you create and the more prolific that you are in putting it out, the more that's going to actually attract your ideal clients because they're going to see you. And the most valuable thing about content is that it's one of the best, if not the best, way to actually sell without selling. And here's what I mean. When a client is exposed to, let's say, a presentation that you give or an article that you've written, and let's just say you're delivering great stuff inside of that, which hopefully you are, right? You're not really holding anything back. You're giving value, value, value. Let's say, and imagine for a moment that that presentation talks about a challenge or problem that organization is having, and that leader is hearing you talk. They're seeing your examples. Maybe you've kind of woven a case study. Now imagine that leader in that organization needs to solve that problem. There's a mandate. The board has decided, that they've decided they need to find a solution, and they don't have the solution yet, because if they did, they would have already implemented it and it would be fixed. So do you think that leader is going to go, okay, I just saw somebody give a presentation who clearly knows what they're talking about and they have experience solving the problem that I'm dealing with right now? Okay, I saw that, but I think I'm going to go onto Google. I'm going to do some research to try and find people who I don't know, who I've never heard of, to see if they might be able to help me. No, of course not, right? They're going to go, oh, I just saw someone who clearly has demonstrated that they understand what it takes and they've done this before. They're going to come to you. And so when you expand that to beyond just one talk and you get in front of a lot of people, this is why you can start seeing top consultants become top consultants, because they start a lot more people coming to them, right? And this won't happen in day one, but as you start working towards this, it can happen a lot faster. And if this is something that you want help with inside of our Clarity Coaching program, this is the kind of stuff that we help our clients with, to actually develop content plans, authority building plans, strategies around how to position yourself as an authority and an expert to get more leads, to command higher fees. Anyways, if you want more information about that, there'll be a link below this video, or just head over to consultingsuccess.com and get in touch. The next is to really differentiate yourself, right? So top consultants, this ties into the first kind of point of they're known for something, but they usually go beyond that. So it's not just saying like, yeah, I work with this kind of small niche group. That's fine. But very often what the top consultant has done is they've created their own IP. They have their own methodology that has a name. They have a unique process. There's something different about what they are doing, or at least they are talking about it or positioning it differently than others in the marketplace. And so that increases that premium perception. That increases that, wow, they have a unique process, methodology, way, a system of going about doing this, and therefore it must work. They've thought it out, right? They've used it before. That's something that top consultants have that often entry level or earlier stage or more novice consultants don't have. So think about that. And the other one is that top consultants don't just talk about their abilities, they demonstrate and show proof, which means that it's hard to be a top consultant, right? When just by definition, even you can't be a top consultant if you just gotten started, but that's okay. You want to work to do great work, right? Build up case studies, testimonials, right? Show your accomplishments, your successes. And if you are brand new, what you can leverage to help with this is to pull in your experiences from employment. So if you've been working in organizations and you have all kinds of experiences or patents or wins and successes, right? Awards, whatever, pull that in. Like that's all great stuff to help you to demonstrate proof. But over time, what we see with many of our clients that are doing, 7 figures or multiple 7 figures per year in their consulting businesses is that they have proof. It's somebody you can go to their website and very clearly see, like, yeah, you worked with a lot of these, organizations, or you've demonstrated, or you have these testimonials or these case studies, right? So that proof is there. It's not a question of can they do this? It's they've done it, and it's not only them saying that they've done it. It's all these other people that are talking about them doing it for them and how successful and fantastic it was. So you should definitely start to build up that proof if you don't have it yet. And then the final thing I'll say about this is that when you do everything that I'm just talking about right here, right? This is not financial or legal advice. Let's just get that disclaimer out of the way. But when you do this, what typically happens is that buyers become pre-sold. So as I just mentioned that example of somebody giving a presentation, right? When a buyer is kind of, sees all of this, you have the proof, you have the IP, you are creating content consistently, you are getting in front of them and you're visible, and you're very well defined in terms of what you're known for, and there's a unique advantage or a unique kind of point of differentiation and distinction. When all that is present, the buyer is pre-sold, meaning that when they reach out to talk to you, they're already thinking they want to work with you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reached out to you. It's not 100% guaranteed that they will work with you, but the chances are quite high. This also supports premium pricing, because when somebody sees you as an authority, as an expert, as a top consultant, They just know, right? We all know that those that are leaders in their field will command more prices, and that often comes down to just the simple belief or concept of supply and demand. So there you have it. Those are a few of the ways that you can move to become a top consultant. As I mentioned before, if you want help with any of this, to build a plan to actually have a clear, strategic and customized plan for your situation so that you know exactly what you need to be doing to go from where you are to reach that next level, or even the level beyond where you are thinking about right now, we can show you how to do that. We work with consultants who are all the way from getting started to running multi-7-figure per year businesses. We have 3 different levels inside our Clarity Coaching program. If you want to learn more about those levels and more about the Clarity Coaching program, and most importantly, to see if it's a fit for you, you can go to consultingsuccess.com or click somewhere below this video or on this page, head on over and book a no obligation, a complimentary call where you can just share more about your situation. And we'll be happy to chat with you about, what's going on and share some ideas and see if we might be able to help you. There you have it. Have a wonderful day.